And tell us a little bit about where you grew up and how you got into basketball, sports, and what it was like coming up when you were a kid. Like, what sparked your interest in sports, and what were your teams growing up as a child?
Yeah, so I'm 35. So I think a lot of people my age, it's, obviously Michael Jordan. I used to really love Gary Payton. He's from the Bay Area. I'm from Sacramento, so it's near enough. I used to really love Gary Payton. But I think the player that sparked my interest most in basketball was Jason Williams. And that was with the hometown team, with the Kings. And I still can remember him wearing the hyper flights, the bright purple hyper flights in the game, and Kings making deep playoff runs and stuff. So there probably was a time where I would consider myself a Kings fan. I think I was a little bit of a nomad, one of those new age fans. I root for players. LeBron, I'm a huge LeBron fan. I think before Kevin and I became really good friends, that was my favorite player. And I think it still might be in a lot of ways. But Kevin is my guy. So obviously there's really interest there. So as of now, I don't know. I'm just an NBA fan, rooting for the Nets, obviously, rooting for my friend to see make sure he does well. Just in the same way you'd root for any of your friends kind of in what they do with work. His work just happens to be really exciting and popular and famous. So, it's a long-winded way to say, I kind of root for a lot of people. But Jason Williams definitely was like a breakthrough moment for me when I was younger. Like, I really got to try to do with this guy. I used to hop around and dribble like him and shoot them wild ass threes and that he would take that are kind of like way more commonplace now.
Mm-hmm.
But Jay Will used to, he do the tween and hop to the left with the headsy and shoot a long three. And it's like, yo, why is he doing that? It was so foreign to everybody. And now it's like normal shot in the NBA. So
you ain't got to tell me. You might have to tell Hudson. Hudson was, I don't even think Hudson was really alive or
I'm sure there's 30 for 30s I can catch up on.
I think they had.
Always making me feel like a child on this podcast.
You were young, and man, I'm just talking about time in the timeline, but I think there was a 30 for 30 with Randy Moss and
Jason. Yeah.
Because
they went to high school together.
West Virginia, yeah. And
yep.
So, no coincidence that we opened the podcast talking about the Kings. We played the Kings last night.